Welcome to another Flick and the Bosman show. We do these all the time, right there, Dave?
Every chance we get or
Every chance
something.
we get, which the last one was in April, I think. But we're we're here now, and that's all that matters. And the Mets and Yankees are here now. Well, not in my bedroom, but they're playing a game, and it's the first of two. And how's it going so far?
Apparently, there have been a lot of hits by hit. No, sorry, we just talked about this. Yeah, no, it's 5-5, top of the seventh in a game. Honestly, if the Mets want to win the series, they probably need this game. They took the first one.
Yeah,
It's
it's
5-5 here.
it's the seventh inning of a seven-inning game, first of two, and they claim not to know who's starting the second game.
I have a feeling it's my guy Corey Oswald, which is not.
That is your guy, Corey Oswald. So now that I've started recording, I'm not watching, so you're going to have to fill me in here. Prediction wise, I suspect the Mets will take a lead and then Diaz will throw it away. But at this point, it looks like Chapman is really something's wrong with him. I think.
Yeah, I mean, his fastball is definitely, and not that this is news, but it's the good 3 to 5 miles an hour slower than it was just a couple of years ago. So, he's got a 4.08 ERA on the season after giving up the game-tying home run to Alonso this inning. He turned around and plunked Conforto, and now it looks like he has walked Jeff McNeil to get to Brian McKinney, first and second, nobody out. So
Mets
he's
have
clearly struggling. Yankees are clearly struggling. If they lose this game, they'll fall to 41-41 on the season.
All right, I'll ask you a couple questions. Like we're doing a live podcast here. By the
Yeah,
time people hear it, this game will be over, I'm sure, and they'll know who won. But would you go to the bench or have McKinney hit here?
I think you got to have McKinney hit. I mean, I don't know that they have. They're carrying so many pitchers. I don't know that they have enough hitters to
All
go
right,
through.
I'll go with McKinney too. Do you have him bunt?
I hate the bunt, but I don't think he's a very good hitter. So I would.
Now, the bunts does a
Say it's a
couple
second
things
hitter.
here. I mean, it could work as a sacrifice. It also puts the ball in Chapman's hands. If you make him field it, who the heck knows where his throw is going to go? I
Yeah,
mean, the way he's out of sorts, I could easily see him picking a ball up and throwing it well over first base or trying to get it out at third. You know, the Mets have messed up some on the base pass today too. The McKinney stopped, or no, I think it was Nito who ended up stopping at third and kind of hung McNeil out to dry and got the Mets ran into an out. Let's put it that way. I'm not describing it well, but and in other cases, I mean, Guillorme for one hit a ball down the left field line that virtually hit the wall, and he's standing on first. He couldn't get to second base on it. So,
well,
are they leaving Chapman in at this point?
Chapman is being pulled from the game
Okay.
in favor of Lucas Lutke. I have no
Yeah,
idea how to say that.
yeah, I think you did pretty well. Key is in there somewhere, even though it's spelled Luetge.
Uh,
Um, he pitched some in the first game and actually has some good stuff. So we'll see if the Mets make a move to go to react to that what the Yankees have done. But yeah, a lot going on here in I like to call it the ninth inning, but the last inning, the last scheduled inning for this first game of the doubleheader, which is of course inning seven.
the Mets
So
are pulling McKinney in favor of Kevin Pillar.
Pilar hitting for McKinney. I was going to mention who they could use, and Pilar was going to be one of those they could. I didn't see a lot of strong options, so Pilar season. You would think at least he could get the runners over, not necessarily by bunting, but doing some situational hitting here. So you can tell me what's going on, but overall, we want to do a game when Jake pitches and kind of describe where the Mets are for the season. But briefly, what do you think about where the Mets are, where they could be, should be, and if they should make any huge moves? I'll throw 20 questions into one sentence.
Well, as we speak, they're 6 games over 500. They have a 4 game lead in the division. They're the only team at over 500 in the division. As bad, and I think Darling was saying this the other day on the air, as bad as the division has been, the Mets feel like they should be up by 10 games here, and they're up by 4 over both Atlanta and Washington.
Yeah,
So,
it feels like they should be 10 over at least.
yeah, yeah. But they haven't hit. They're just getting their hitters healthy. They've pitched really well, despite not having Carrasco or Syndergaard, and both of those took negative health turns to when they thought they would be back by now. So the bullpen's been strong generally, and the starting pitching has been excellent, particularly at home. And it looks like Pilar just got a hit. It looks like it's going to be bases loaded, nobody out, as far as I can tell here.
Yeah, this is what's happened a lot. A lot of base to base hits.
Yep. So McCann up now, pinch hitting.
McCann up with the bases loaded, nobody out here in the top of the seventh.
Yep.
At Yankee Stadium. I don't know if we have any right to be doing this, but okay. No one's listening live, I've ruled that it's okay. So I wrote up some trivia for you here, but you're on a roll with the Mets. So realistically, give me 1 or 2 moves you could make if you were the GM, or do you want to stand where you're at?
I would love for them to go get another starting pitcher and a hitter, particularly a third baseman. There's been some mention of Josh Donaldson lately. It seems like that's not going to happen from what I read today. John Heyman was quoted on MLB Trade Rumors saying that doesn't seem to have a lot of juice to it. I think it's good if the Mets leave that one behind because they Donaldson signed for 2 more years for big money after this, and Mets have not 1 but 2 very good prospects that are third basemen that look like they're maybe a year or less away. So I wouldn't want to go over I don't really care about the luxury tax, and hopefully Steve Cohen doesn't either. He's supposed to be Mr. Moneybags. So it's not so much that I would care about getting the contract. It's that I wouldn't want to block a player. If you could get a Chris Bryant, and the Cubs have been struggling, they're now 8.5 games back of the Brewers and 6.5 games back in the wild card, having lost 9 straight.
Big lead for Milwaukee.
Yeah, the Brewers have won 11 straight, going for 12 today. Oh, I guess they lost today. Excuse me. Brewers lost today, having won 11 straight before this. Cubs lost today as well. They're now 9 back. Have lost 9 in a row, 8.5 back of the Brewers, 6.5 back in the wild card. This is more like what people thought when the Cubs, a couple of weeks ago, were essentially tied with the Brewers. People were saying, "Well, there's no way they're going to trade Bryant." Now, maybe a couple more weeks of mediocre play, and maybe they do trade him. That would be a great fit for the Mets. He's got a big contract this year, that's fine, but he's only signed to the end of the year, which is obviously why the Cubs would be interested in moving him. It's a great fit. Bryant generally has been hitting very well this year, and the Mets could use certainly another bat. There's a lot of talk about some of the Twins' good players like Josh Donaldson, or most importantly for the Mets, a guy like Jose Barrios, who's signed, I think, for next year or maybe even the year after, I forget. So they would probably have to give up a fairly good prospect to get him. But to get a controllable, very good young pitcher who's having a good year again this year, I would definitely do that. I think it makes sense to think about talking about trading Ronnie Mauricio, who is a shortstop and is blocked, obviously, by Lindor.
Lindor you don't expect will be going anywhere anytime soon.
Exactly. You either got to change his position, or trade him. So to me, if you can trade him for a good young guy who might help you in the get to the playoffs and then do something if you get there, you go ahead and do that. Moves like if you make two moves like that, get Carrasco back, get Syndergaard back. You're getting healthy with the rest of your lineup. Nimmo back yesterday, he had 3 hits. He's got I think another hit today and an RBI. McNeil's back, and even Nito's back. Very excited about that. Conforto's back. So the lineup is more like what you thought you'd have to start the season, and hopefully, they started the season healthy as a lineup and they didn't hit. Then they all got hurt, except for a couple of them, and I think at one point 16 or 17 of the opening day roster was on the DL.
Oh my goodness! Yeah, you're about right with either of those numbers. You're in the ballpark.
Yeah,
those players were not in the ballpark. Well,
exactly.
Some may have been there, but not playing. Any update now? Any outs? Any more runs? Anything?
So it's 2-2. McCann's been battling.
Okay.
2-2. Nobody out, nobody in yet. Still the same at bat.
Okay. Well, he's hanging in there. You're willing to take on some trivia while you're watching the top of the seventh.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, the trivia's got a theme, and it's the number 2 since the Mets are playing 2 games today. So a lot of second places or 2 answers required to get credit. So that's the theme.
So McCann just struck out.
Of course. Why wouldn't he?
Just got to put the ball in play. Get a run home.
Yeah, but
up to Jose Peraza.
What sport do you feel confident in here? There are that's accurate. No baseball questions.
Baseball is good. I love baseball.
No baseball questions.
Football.
No football.
Basketball.
There's some basketball questions.
Fencing.
Can you name the 2 teams in the final? That is not the trivia, but
yeah, it was the Bucks and the Suns.
All right, which team do you know more about?
I don't know any. I guess relatively speaking, the Bucks.
All right,
I could name 1 or 2 guys on the Suns.
Well, give me the Bucks' second leading scorer throughout the playoffs, and this is not average. This is total points. So factor in injuries if you have to. But total points scored, I want who scored the second most points in the playoffs only for the Bucks.
I'm going to go a little bit off the radar screen here. I'm going to go Brooke Lopez.
Brooke Lopez. I'm jotting this down for all
Instead of Giannis and Middleton being generally their best 2 players.
Generally their best 2, but there have been some injuries for the Bucks, so that's a very reasonable guess, and it's showing how much I know about the Bucks. I didn't know Lopez was still in the league, but yes, I did see him in one of the playoff games. The same question for the Suns.
The second leading scorer in the postseason.
Yes, points scored. I will say there's almost a 200-point gap between number 1 and number 2, and there's only a 6-point gap between number 2 and number 3. But I'm going to give you a big hint. Number 3 is Chris Paul.
Oh, that was going to be my guess.
Yeah, I had a feeling.
Now you're going to make me stretch. I only know. I think it's Ayton. I don't know how you say his name.
DeAndre Ayton is your guess, or you think?
No, I think he's the leading scorer.
He's the leading scorer. Okay.
And I was really counting on going with Chris Paul as number 2, but now I really can't do that without looking.
Unless you think I'm lying to you, you could always go with Devin Booker, who appears regularly in Suns games.
Booker, I don't even know her.
No, that's not. There's a joke in there, but I don't. That's not it.
Oh, all right. If he's on the Suns, I'll go with him. I don't
he is on the Suns, and you can go with him, Devin Booker. Okay. How's your knowledge on the Tampa Bay Lightning?
I know they're about to win their second straight Stanley Cup. That's about it.
Is Game 4 tonight?
Maybe.
No, it's not. It's Monday. But Anyway, why you take an extra day off when you've already played a game in Montreal? Why do you need an extra day off between games 3 and 4? I don't know.
Did
But
they play
anyway,
in Montreal? That's funny. I didn't realize they could get in and out of the country.
oh, yes, I think for the finals they're special dispensation or something.
Uh huh. All right.
How's our man Peraza doing at the bat?
It's same as McCann so far, 2-2.
It's just a long at bat. All right. If you didn't know, Braden Point is the leading scorer for the Tampa Bay Lightning. Okay.
True.
True. That's not a true false question. He's got 14 goals so far in the playoffs. But I couldn't ask you as the second most goals for Tampa Bay because it's a three-way tie. But because of your hockey knowledge, I'm going to give you credit for any of those three guys.
Mario Lemieux.
Mario Lemieux. Okay. I think he might be retired and was never on Tampa Bay. But other than that, it's a solid guess.
You noticed when you asked what sports I'm confident in, hockey did not come up.
Hockey did not come up. Are you arguing it's not a sport like cornhole or rugby or something like that?
Yes.
Is it a real sport in your mind, at least?
Hockey?
Yeah.
Yeah, playoff hockey is great fun.
Okay.
Peraza drove in a run.
What? Well, I'm sorry. I fell off my chair here. Were we talking Peraza drove in a run?
He drove in he drove in 2 runs.
2 runs.
He had a double to left.
Wow.
Conforto and McNeil coming around to score.
Score a couple more and they won't even need to use our guy Diaz.
Yeah, maybe.
All right.
Nimmo is up.
You ready for your next sport? And that is, of course, Euro 2020.
Sure. I've actually been paying somewhat attention to that.
Your question isn't why it's called 2020 when we're more than halfway through 2021. But anywho,
yes,
they're down to the final 4. I need you to name 2 of the final 4 with no misses.
I can do better than that.
No, well.
Oh, Nimmo just drove in another run. You've got Italy against Spain.
Oh, you're giving me matchups. Italy against Spain. What was the other one?
Denmark against England.
Wow, you know all 4. Wow.
All 4.
Wow. England with the 4-0 victory last round. Oh, I guess I'm confirming you. England was right on that. Yeah, if you've been trusting Dave's guesses here, trust him in soccer, not necessarily the other sports. But we'll move on to a sport you know very well, and that's men's tennis. And Wimbledon. And the number 1 seed is still remaining for the men. The number 3 seed did not get out of the first round. But the number 2 seed is still hanging around. And since our theme is the number 2, I'm just going to need you to tell me the number 2 seed for the men in Wimbledon singles this year.
I will say, speaking of 2, Nimmo just singled in 2 more runs. The second 2-run hit of the inning, and it is now 9-5. 10-5.
Leave Familia. It's a blowout.
Lindor just singled in Nimmo, and it is now 10-5.
Lindor with a hit we didn't need. Is that what you're telling me?
I did not say that. I'm just
the Yankees
saying,
are good at giving up 7-run innings at least.
The number 2 seed is
2 seed.
Roger Federer.
Roger Federer, who has become the oldest player in the round of. Is it the round of 16 or the round of 8? I should know this if I'm going to babble about it. But I think you have to go back to Ken Rosewell to get or however you say his name, to get an older player that's gone further in Wimbledon. But anywho. You're going with him as the number 2 seed. Okay.
The number 2 seed.
And your last question, of course, you're listening to the Flick and the Bozman show. We're very rusty at this because we haven't done an episode since April, but hopefully we're doing some more, like a Met episode, specifically a Jacob deGrom episode, and then when we're back into football season, we'll do our weekly episodes. But I know one of your favorite Olympic sports is gymnastics,
Of
and
course.
I'm just going to need you to name two of the young ladies who have qualified for the United States gymnastics team. Let's
Certainly.
certainly
I will say Olga Corbett and
Olga Corbett, not.
Mary Lou Retton.
I would like people that have qualified for this year's Olympics.
And Americans probably.
Yeah, I'd prefer that. Yeah, you tried
Uh,
to slip one by me there.
I can see her. I can't think of her name. I don't know. Simone something.
We're going to go to the judges on that, which is what happens We're going to give you credit for Simone Biles. Yes,
Yes, Biles.
Simone Biles. You just need one more, and you're a winner.
Miles and miles of Biles. And I
Not
will say
not
Mary
her
Lou.
nickname, as
Carrie
far as I know.
Strug.
What's that?
Carrie Strug.
Gary Strug. Okay,
Not
jotting that.
Gary.
I didn't write Gary. I wrote
Okay.
Gary. I was taking a sip of water and laughing at your guess, but I
Okay.
wrote it down. I did write it down. It was an impressive trivia performance. If you disagree with any of the Bosman's answers, you can of course submit your answers. You can do that by email, which I'll put up here on the. You're probably listening on YouTube. I'll put the email there, or you could just comment here on YouTube, or you could go to our Twitter, which is at FlickBoz. You could leave a comment there. And since we hadn't done an episode since April, I finally checked the email, and there were two emails from about May. So I feel bad.
Ah.
I feel bad for those people, but I answered them today like they just arrived today. So I'll see if either person. I didn't know either person, so I didn't feel like joking around. I just, oh yes, they wanted our opinion on something. I can't even remember what the something was. Oh yes, certainly, yeah, sure, of course. Here's an opinion. So that was the trivia, and I do thank those people that listened and sent emails and left comments on YouTube. Mets done hitting now, or what's going on?
It is still Pete Alonso's batting again.
Again, I love the bat around.
Yeah, the bat around. Two outs and a runner on first. It is 10-5.
Whew.
So you want to just run through? I was thinking it'd be interesting to just kind of run through the standings real quick and
Yeah,
tell me if.
yeah. Go ahead. Do you have them in front of you?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, go
So,
ahead.
all right. So in the American League, tell me if they're a playoff team or not.
I'll do the best I can.
Red Sox.
I would say certainly.
They are 20 games over 500, 62 run differential plus.
Yeah,
Uh,
Darlene
Rays.
or Hernandez or somebody said they have to cool off a little, but I think they got a lot of talent and the ability to make a move or two if
Yeah.
they need to. So yes, I think they're a playoff team.
The Rays, 4 games out, plus 66.
I'll can I put them in the maybe for now? I don't think they'll win the division. I think Boston will find a way to win the division. I kind of want to hear my own voice on some of the wild card teams. So I'll put Tampa to the side for now.
All right. Toronto.
It got Toronto, I think in something you sent, it was telling me they've scored a lot, not given up a lot, or they have a good run differential or
Yeah, they
something along
do.
those lines. And you talked about it when I gave you that hockey trivia about it. Things have been rough on these Canadian teams playing in strange locations or not playing as many home games.
Yeah, they're
I
playing
think
the Buffalo
Toronto.
or something.
Yeah, I think Toronto's a bit on a mission. I'm going to say yes. They find a way to get a wild card.
Interesting. Interesting. All right. I'm gonna. Well, I guess we have to mention the Yankees, who
Yeah,
look like.
they are in turmoil right now, and I think the manager is likely to be gone. The GM may even be gone. Um,
Hmm.
something big is not right there, and
Yeah.
uh, unless they do something fast, Um, and it doesn't look like win this first game. They really need to win the second more than the Mets do. But I will say what I've seen, they're not a playoff team.
Yeah,
They're just not a good team. They're not fundamentally sound. They don't run well. LeMahieu doesn't look like the player he's been in the last couple years, and yeah, so something's not right. So the my quick answer is they're not a playoff team, and Baltimore is not even worth considering as far as the playoffs go.
yeah. I was just going to mention the teams that look like they're in the running. So the White Sox,
But they're a division winner, yes.
yeah, they've got a 6-game lead on the Indians.
Indians, I'll put in kind of the Tampa, I don't know yet mix.
Indians are 3 games over 500. They're four
Yeah.
and a half behind in the wild card.
See, I would think Toronto's better than Cleveland.
Yeah,
Tampa, I'm just not sure. So I got Toronto as a wild card. I'm not sure about Tampa or Cleveland at this point.
gotcha. Cleveland's run differential is minus 16, by the way. Houston,
Yeah, we'll win the division.
yeah, they look like it. They're 3 games up now on the A's, which is surprising. It's only that much. Their run differential is up plus 137, which I think is the best in the majors.
Yeah,
And Oakland is plus 30, but they're only 3 games back.
and I don't think there's much reason to consider the Angels or the Rangers. Seattle,
Yeah,
they're probably fortunate to be a handful of games about over 500, but I don't think
yeah,
they're that good.
yeah.
So I
They're
think
4 games over.
so. What do I got for one spot? I'm
You
I
got
have
Tampa, Toronto, and Oakland fighting for one spot, fighting
no.
for the two wild
I'm
cards, and
putting
Cleveland.
Toronto in. I got Tampa, Cleveland, and Oakland for one spot.
Yeah, all right.
Tampa, Cleveland, and Oakland for one spot, and what the heck? I'll say Oakland.
All right. Uh, Lugo is pitching the bottom of the seventh and 1 out as he got Odor to bunt out sharply to second baseman McNeil.
That's nice.
So
He,
that's the American League.
yeah,
In the National League, the Mets obviously are winning the division by 4.
yeah, and I think they will win the division.
It looks like, not to spoil things, but it looks like you need to win the division
Oh,
to make
sure.
the
Yes.
playoffs.
They're the only team out of the East. Yes.
Yep.
Milwaukee's
Milwaukee, as I
home for
said
8.
earlier, has a 7-game lead now on Cincinnati in second
Yeah.
place
Yeah.
and 8.5 on the
Cincinnati,
Cubs.
Cincinnati buyer, seller. I think they'll probably be a seller. And should they be or should they not be? I don't know, but I think they have some talent. If I'm Cincinnati, I'm looking to make a big run over the next 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
I don't think they should do it now. And I'm saying this because somebody, it may have even been you, mentioned them as a possible trade partner for the Mets if the Mets were to make a move. And I think it makes some sense on both sides. So I'll say they're not a playoff team.
I think that sounds right. Their run differential is minus
That
1.
sounded too logical. Could we throw that throw that minute out? That sounded like I knew what I was talking about, and I absolutely don't.
And then in the West, you've got the 3 teams. The Giants and Dodgers are now tied.
So why can't all three make it?
They can.
Yeah. So they play each other a lot, but someone's got to win those games. Someone's got to lose those games. I think eventually the Rockies will fade even more, and they're 10 games under 500 or so, and Arizona's just pitiful. I think all three teams will make it. I think that, and who wins the division? Who's the wild card? I don't care that much. You made me say the Dodgers will probably win the division. Maybe even the Padres will come in second, but I think the Giants will do enough to stay in the playoff mix, and no one in the East is catching them. And if just take it on a Padres Brewers standings or Giants Reds. I mean, like, who are the Reds going to catch if they're going to be a wild card team? I don't. Yeah, I don't see it. So
Yeah. Well, the Padres are the one. The Padres are 4.5 behind the Giants and Dodgers,
yeah,
and they seem to be. The Giants are the ones that have kind of been doing it with mirrors all season.
sure.
We're supposed to be another 500 team.
That's why I could see them coming in third, but
Yeah.
still having a good enough record to be a wild card.
Yeah.
If
Um, Agreed.
and I think that
So
makes some sense, right?
yeah.
Um,
So to circle back to the Mets, the thing is, yes, they're as constructed. It looks like they can probably make the wild card and make the playoffs. The question is, are you good enough as constructed to make a run, or are you happy just playing competitive games in September and October? That's why I wanted to make those trades. You've got an opportunity here with another bat and another arm. If they're healthy, I don't think they need another arm. They probably always have needed another bat, particularly a third baseman. So, but you can't count on. I mean, Syndergaard and Carrasco haven't thrown a pitch yet this year, and you can't count on them being healthy. So that's why I'm saying go get somebody, go get a Barrios or another pitcher like that. Um, and that's their final, by the way, 10-5.
oh, cool.
So put it in the books, as you like to say,
I do like to say.
as Bob Murphy would tell you. And so that it's not about, to me, it's not about so much making the playoffs as if you want to try to get far into the playoffs and maybe get into the NLCS or maybe even get into the World Series. This team's not ready yet. At least you can't count on being healthy. If they're healthy, maybe they can make a run. I just, I don't know that um, that's the plan, right? Is to just say, well, if we're healthy, no. You've got an opportunity here to go get a bat and another arm, and that will make October games much more likely, and maybe even a run towards a World Series.
Well, hopefully, they've listened to at least some of your plan, and hopefully, we're able to get together again soon to do a another show. Maybe when Jake is pitching, it's a little hectic when we're trying to do it and keep track of what's going on in a game. But maybe if we're sitting in the same room, which we're not right now, but hopefully soon we'll do one of these shows together in the same room. And thanks for doing it today, there, Dave.
Absolutely. Great to talk to you again, Phil. And
And I,
do it
I
again
have
soon.
your going out music here. Take it easy. Have a good rest of the day.
Yeah, you too.